Good morning. Wednesday, office, only 8-ish in the morning. And already I've had to have a couple of the it's likely nothing conversations. So I figure this is a good way to start my day with you guys to tell you that it's likely nothing. Meaning, what do I mean when I say it's likely nothing? Anytime you have a concern or a complaint, please start with this algorithm. Calm yourself down and say it's likely nothing. And then further calm yourself down by saying, but let's check it out. So that if it is something, we've checked it out early. Because I think just kind of paternalistically patting you on the back and saying, oh, it's likely nothing, honey, without any validation doesn't make us feel good as humans, but certainly I think as many of us as women, because we're either too smart to think, oh, it's just nothing, or we are anxious and we constantly think it's something. But I also think that devolving your brain to the worst common denominator, as I always say, is not valuable. And it was highlighted today with two people already early in the morning. One of whom I had to call with a breast biopsy, and one of whom I had to call to just tell her that she needs to have something removed from her uterus, a polyp most likely. Both of these women I know so well, and they are wonderful, educated, healthy women who, like many of us, have health anxieties. So I want to use the breast biopsy as an example. As I said to this lovely, healthy patient, your breast biopsy was normal, meaning it was negative for any cancer. It was what's called a fibroadenoma, which is a small, teeny, little rubbery mass that can be in your breast and can sometimes look a little irregular on a mammogram or an ultrasound and need to be biopsied to prove it. Now, her response was very appropriate, very emotional, and very happy. And her further response was, but I'm healthy and I exercise and I don't have any family history, so I was so upset and worried, why would this have happened? Something to that effect. And my response, which it often is, which you guys hear me say here, is this. If we live in fear that we're going to hear the words, you've got cancer, we are shooting ourselves in the foot. Because the fact is, many of us in our lifetime, the data shows anywhere from 30 to 50% of us in our lifetime, men and women, will end up hearing those words. But the vast majority of us will actually hear, you've got it, but it's caught early, you're going to be okay. And if we don't hear that, that's what the doctor means and should say. So, as I say with breast biopsies, and I said to this patient is young and she has a long, healthy life ahead of her, which also means the potential for more biopsies and the potential for maybe even an early stage breast cancer, colon cancer, uterine cancer, cervical cancer, things that are not so uncommon that, as I say all the time, we can find and fix. Those are not the things that I want you to fear constantly, because those are the things that could happen. So instead of even wasting brain energy on fear, I instead want you to think, okay, that crazy lady with the blonde hair on Instagram keeps saying, those are the things we can find and fix. I'm going to methodically make sure that I do my tests for those things, the screening tests you can, your screening mammogram, your screening pap smear. If you're bleeding irregularly, go see a doctor for a pelvic ultrasound. If you're having bloating, pain, or pressure, please have a pelvic ultrasound. If you're over 45, please have a colonoscopy. Learn your family history risk so that you know what cancers are in your family to know if you need to do genetic testing. These are all things you can proactively do so that you can calm your mind. And again, I used my car analogy with her. You can take all the precautions you want. Your seat belt, you're not texting, you're not drunk, you're in a safe car with airbags. You still might get into a car accident. If you live in fear of that every day, which some people do, that is a disorder, right? Instead, we want to proactively take all the precautions we have and realize that if we have a car accident with those precautions, we will likely be fine. And instead of the second we hear about a car accident or get into a small fender bender, we let our brain go to oh my God, I could die. That's not healthy. That's not good for us. And it's not even true. The truth is, that most of the time, if you get into a car accident, taking all the precautions you have, you will be fine. Now, of course, it's not always true. Some people take all the precautions and they get into the calamitous car accident. Some people do every screening test and they still end up with that late stage cancer. But that is not the majority. And so if we constantly allow ourselves to be in this heightened state of stress and anxiety and fear, we are only increasing our stress hormones and living a life that is not as wonderful and fulfilling. Especially when things like breast biopsies are common. Colonoscopies where they tell you you had a polyp, common. Irregular pap smears, super common. So that's my morning day for you. Have a great day. Tonight I'm going to be on the Insta talking about ovarian cancer with some amazing ladies. So please come on Instagram Live tonight. Go to Paranova, get your teal nail polish for the last couple days of Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. And please remember, these are the words I used yesterday on my patient webinar about ovarian cancer. If we can find and fix things early and we can be proactive without being paranoid, my building just shook, by the way. Is there an earthquake? Then we'll likely be okay. At least with these things. There's a lot of other things I got to be nervous about in my life, but these are not the things that I want to be too worried about as long as I'm being proactive. Okay? All right. Great day.